Hi friends, welcome back. In this video, we will discuss the requirement of high-speed devices and circuits, and then two very important high-speed devices like HBT, which stands for heterojunction bipolar transistor, and HEMT, which stands for high electron mobility transistor. Okay, so let us start with the requirement of high-speed devices and circuits. As we know that BJTs, FETs and MOSFETs are used for the switching purpose, and if we compare the MOSFET with BJT and FETs, MOSFET has very high switching speed as compared to BJT and FET. The operating speed or switching speed of the device, that means the transistor may be FET, BJT or MOSFET, it depends on various important parameters like transit time of the charge carriers, junction capacitances, then transit frequency, then on resistances, carrier mobility, then doping concentration, temperature, device geometry and the size, etc, etc. Okay, so let us see one by one. So very first important parameter is transit time, which is denoted by capital T and small t, suffix small t. So transit time of the charge carriers is nothing but it is defined as the ratio of channel length to the velocity of charge carriers. It is the ratio of channel length to the velocity of charge carriers, which can be written by using this formula, where this L is equal to channel length and V is the carrier velocity, which can be written as mu small e into capital E. So where that mu e is nothing but mobility of charge carriers, speed of charge carriers is mobility of charge carriers, and E is the electric field applied. Okay, so the transit time is the ratio of length to velocity. Length is channel length and velocity is nothing but the carrier velocity. Second important parameter which decides the operating speed of device or transistor is transit frequency, denoted as capital F small t. So it is the ratio of transconductance to the input capacitance, and it can be denoted as like this: Ft is equal to Gm by Ci, where what is Gm? Gm is the transconductance and Ci is the input capacitance, that means junction capacitance. Theoretically, this transit frequency is the frequency at which output current to the input current becomes equal to 1. Okay, so what is transconductance? As we know that it is denoted by Gm. So we know the conductance is the reciprocal of resistance. Resistance is equal to V upon I, therefore conductance is equal to I by V. So conductance is the reciprocal of resistance, and transconductance is the ratio of change in output current to the change in input voltage. That means Gm is equal to delta IO divided by delta V in, which can be expressed in terms of Siemens. Okay, trans resistance is different, which is denoted by small rm, that is a trans resistance. Here we are discussing about transconductance, which is the ratio of delta IO to delta V in, that means change in output current to the change in input voltage. Okay, so this transconductance is nothing but it tells us about how much strong the transistor is to convert a small amount of voltage into desirable current. Okay, so that is what about transconductance, and transit frequency is the ratio of transconductance to the input capacitance, as it can be seen by using this formula. Okay, let us move to the next important parameter which decides the operating speed or switching speed of the device is the on resistance, denoted as R on. Okay, it is the dynamic resistance value, which is the ratio of output voltage to the output current. As we know that resistance is V upon I, so it is the dynamic resistance which can be denoted by using this formula, delta VDS by delta ID, where delta VDS is the change in output voltage, drain to source voltage, and delta ID is the change in drain current. Okay, so various parameters are deciding the speed of operation or switching speed of the devices, and what is the need of these devices, what is the requirement of these high speed devices, which parameters values must be high and which parameters should have low value. This table shows this table summarizes the various parameters which are responsible for, which are deciding the operating speed of the transistor or device. Okay, so in the first column there are various parameters whose value should be high, like mobility of charge carriers. The As we know that there are charge carrier in if you consider FET or MOSFET, there is a channel. As when we connect the external power supply, that means when we bias the device, we connect VDS power supply, the charge carriers present in the channel, whether it may be P channel or N channel, the charge carriers are moving towards the drain, from source to drain, constituting the output current or drain current. Okay, so the mobility of these charge carriers should be high, so as to switch on the device very fastly, so as to increase the operating speed of device. So it is denoted as mu E is the mobility of charge carriers. The charge carriers may be electrons or holes. Then V is the velocity of carriers. Then Ft is called as a transit frequency. As we have discussed, transit frequency is the ratio of Gm by Ci, which depends on the transconductance and the input capacitance. Then Gm is the transconductance, as we have seen, it is the ratio of delta IO by delta V in. Then Id is the drain current. These 5 important parameters must have the value as high as possible, high value. Okay, then there are other parameters which should have the low value. So here we can see all these parameters should have low value. The very first parameter is a transit time of the charge carriers, denoted by capital T suffix small t. As we have seen that it is the ratio of channel length by the carrier velocity, which this carrier velocity depends on the mobility of charge carriers and electric field further. Okay, so the transit time should be low. Then channel length, denoted by L, that should be always very small. The channel length is the length between the space between the drain and source. This should be very small to increase the operating speed of device. The capacitance, which is nothing but junction capacitance or input capacitance, whose value should be low. There are certain stray capacitances, CD and CT, means diffusion capacitance and transition capacitances. These are the stray capacitances, means unwanted capacitances, which are caused in the FET or MOSFET or BJT. Their value should be low as possible. And there is a on resistance, denoted as R on, so whose value should be as low as possible. This R on is nothing but the dynamic resistance, which is the ratio of delta VDS by delta ID. It is the resistance between drain to source. Okay, so whose value should be as low as possible. So therefore, considering all these parameters, high speed devices are required for increasing the operating speed. Now let us move to one of the important other high speed device, that is heterojunction bipolar transistor, HBT. Okay, so what is HBT? HBT is nothing but it can be defined as it is a 3-terminal 4-layer heterojunction high speed device which is used for fast switching applications at very high frequencies up to gigahertz. I'll repeat the definition. HBT, which stands for heterojunction bipolar transistor, is a 3-terminal 4-layer heterojunction high speed device which is used for fast switching applications at very high frequencies up to gigahertz. Okay, so it is nothing but a type of BJT, bipolar junction transistor, but which uses different, that means dissimilar semiconductor materials for the emitter and base regions, which creates the heterojunctions. Okay, so there are two types of devices based on whether the similar materials are used between emitter and base regions, or dissimilar metals are used between emitter and base regions. The junction between dissimilar semiconductors if the junction is formed by using two dissimilar semiconductors, that junction is called as heterojunction, whereas the junction between similar semiconductors between the base and emitter regions, that is called as homojunction. Okay, so homojunction with the similar semiconductor materials and heterojunctions with the dissimilar semiconductor materials. Okay, as here you can see heterojunction. So this HBT is a heterojunction type of device, and traditional BJTs are homojunction devices, whereas HBTs are heterojunction bipolar transistors. That's why the name is given as heterojunction bipolar. The basic operation of HBT is same as transistor, but in case of say, bipolar transistor, that means BJT, there is a homojunction. That means the two materials are same, which are used for base and emitter regions, whereas in case of this HBTs, the two dissimilar materials, semiconductor materials, are used, which will create the heterojunction. Okay, so HBTs are improved as compared to BJTs in that it can handle the signals of very high frequencies up to several hundred gigahertz, and the operating speed of these devices HBTs is very high as compared to BJTs. Okay, so transistors can be of two types based on this: heterojunction BJTs and homojunction BJTs and heterojunction BJTs. All semiconductor and germanium based BJTs, as well as semiconductor and germanium based FETs and MOSFETs, these comes under the category homojunction by transistors. Actually, FETs and MOSFETs are not bipolar, they are unipolar transistors, as we have seen its working theoretically. BJT is a bipolar, that means the current conduction is by means of both type of charge carriers. In case of FET and MOSFET, the current conduction is by means of only one type of charge carriers, that means either because of holes or because of electrons. That's why they are unipolar devices. And heterojunction devices, the examples are HEMT, which stands for high electron mobility transistor. MESFET is another type of device which stands for metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. Then HBT, heterojunction bipolar transistor. Okay, these are the heterojunction bipolar devices. Now, how is the structure of BJT? Let us see. As you can see here, it is a three terminal device. Emitter, base and collector are same as BJT. It is a four layer device. The emitter layer, here you can see that it is highly doped. This N plus indicates highly doped N type material. P plus is again highly doped base region. N minus is lightly doped, and again N plus is highly doped region. Okay, so various materials can be used, different materials, dissimilar materials can be used between the collector and base to form the heterojunction. So various options are there, like gallium arsenide, GaAs, silicon or germanium, gallium arsenide again, or silicon. So depending on the requirement, the different materials can be used to form the base and collector and emitter. Okay, so it is a three terminal four layer device. As you can see here, the heavily doped N plus gallium arsenide layer, which forms the low resistance ohmic contact for the emitter and collector contact. Heavily doped P plus gallium arsenide layer is used for the base, which will reduce the base and the base contact resistance, which we can call it as RBB. So this will also reduce the early effect, that can be reduced as there is just a minimum change in the base width when the base collector reverse bias is increased. So what is an early effect? Is the name, this is named after its discoverer by the James Early, the name of scientist. It is the variations in the effective width of the base in BJT due to variations in the applied base to collector voltage. Okay, so this is the effect which was discovered by scientist James Early, which is nothing but variations in the effective width of base in the BJT particularly, due to the variations in the applied base to collector voltage. So this early effect is not found, or it can be minimized in case of HBT as compared to BJT due to its structure. And the high base doping makes the device less susceptible to punch through, and the base can be made thinner, resulting in a faster transistor to collect. The collector is lightly doped. Then you can see here one more important parameter is there, punch through. So punch through is nothing but an emitter to voltage breakdown, an emitter to collector breakdown, so which can occur in the transistor with a very narrow base region when reverse bias is applied. That means punch through is nothing but breakdown of what? Breakdown of emitter to collector region or junction, and which occurs in the transistor with a very low base region, when the base region is very low or very thin, and when we apply the reverse bias, there is a possibility of breakdown of the emitter to collector junction. This is also reduced, this disadvantage of BJT is reduced in case of this HBT. Okay, so other disadvantage of BJT is that early effect. That early effect is nothing but the variations in the base to collector voltage, right? Variations in the width of base because of base to collector voltage. And this second one is the punch through, which is nothing but the breakdown of emitter and collector junction because of application of reverse bias, that can be reduced in case of HBTs because of its structure. This is the advantage of HBT. Okay, now because of higher base doping, the higher collector doping is possible without punch through in case of HBTs, and which will also reduce the collector resistance. So resistances are low. Since the band gap energies are different, a discontinuity in the bands appears, reducing emitter efficiency. The use of grading layers improves the electron movement from the emitter to base, and because of low emitter doping concentration, the emitter base junction capacitance also decreases, which will increase the transition frequency FT. The semiconductor with its different band gaps can be seen here, like gallium arsenide and aluminum gallium arsenide. The GaAs has band gap energy in electron volt as 1.424 eV, and aluminum gallium arsenide has 1.758 electron volt band gap energy. Okay, so if we compare the silicon based BJT with the HBT, various parameters can be compared like this. The transit time, if we compare, it has very low transit time of HBT. It is 2.6, whereas in silicon BJT it is 50. Then RBI, that means junction resistance, which is expressed in ohms, is 110 in case of BJT, and it is only 3.5 ohm in case of HBT. The base resistance, which is also in ohm, which is 130 ohm in case of silicon transistor, ordinary silicon transistor, and in case of HBT it is only 13 ohm. The diffusion capacitance in microfarad is 20 microfarad and 10 microfarad in case of HBT. Emitter doping is low, whereas in HBT emitter doping is very high. Base width is more in case of BJT. Base width, that means base is very thin in case of HBT, which will also avoid the as I told you, the early effect and punch through effect. Okay, base width that we have discussed. Then speed is very low in case of silicon transistor, and in case of HBT it is a high speed device. Two more parameters you can compare. The early effect is more in case of silicon transistor, and early effect is very less in case of HBT, as well as punch through effect is the another effect in which there is a breakdown of emitter and collector junction when we apply the reverse bias, which is not found in case of HBT, and that punch through is found in case of BJT. Okay, so that's why based on these parameters the HBT is a very superior device as compared to BJT, as it is a very high speed device. Then there are certain applications of BJTs like used in the modern ultrasonic circuit, used in RF systems. It is used in appliance applications requiring high power, high efficiency, such as RF power applications in cellular phones. It is used in digital and micro applications up to several gigahertz. It is also used in laser drivers, etc. Okay, so this is a very important device because of various advantages of HBT. This high speed device, due to the low transit time and high transit frequency, it has very low junction capacitances and junction resistances also. Then it has improved beta as compared to, beta is the current gain, which is improved one as compared to silicon transistor due to increase in output current IC. Now there are certain disadvantages of BJTs, like it requires a chemical treatment for base region surface to improve the beta value. Construction is complex as compared to silicon BJT and expensive as compared to silicon BJT. So the price paid for the all these advantages, very high speed, low capacitances, inductances, internal resistances, it is a little bit expensive as compared to BJT. Okay.